Hello everyone and welcome back to my F2 2019 season. We are here for the Hungarian round of the series today, and we've got a 19-point buffer in the championship, and we might need every bit of that to maintain the lead at the end of this round, because Hungary has never been a strong track for me, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Welcome to Formula 2 at the Hungaroring, where the teams are making a few last-minute adjustments to the cars to account for the damp conditions you can see out on the track. I'm sure the drivers are keen to get out there, so expect to see some action any minute now.
Alright, so into practice now. Let's see what the story is. We've got rainy conditions to start with, but it will be sunny throughout the rest of the weekend, so that's a relief. But we'll go out, set a lap in the rain, and just get the eye in around the circuit, and hopefully the conditions aren't too bad and they can improve throughout the session, but we'll see. But a little bit of understeer through the first corner, that's to be expected in the rain. And then you can just see how slow that we have to go to make turn 2. And it's actually quite frustrating, because even in the F2 cars you can go a lot faster than that. But anyway, the wet conditions certainly have a big effect on how you drive these cars. But cutting turn 4 quite significantly, but somehow we managed to get away with that. And then now towards the chicane, and a lot of understeer, and we just completely missed out the chicane. But again, able to get away with that. So I'm not sure what's going on with the track limits, but that's 2 cases at least on this lap where the lap should have been disallowed. But anyway, not complaining, but yeah, it's a little bit weird. Even I know I don't have the strict corner cutting turned on, because I don't feel like getting blown up every time I make a tiny mistake. But we completely blew through rear end there, and managed to send the car into the wall backwards. So that was the end of my wet lap in practice, but it dries up later in the session, so we can go again, and this time hopefully get through the lap a bit more cleanly, and see what the pace is really like around this circuit. So through the first corner quite nicely, and a little bit on the grass on the entry there, a little bit deep into the corner, couldn't slow it down with the right side wheels in the grass there, and just the complete wrong line through turn 3. But up towards turn 4, one of the only good corners on the track. The track's not that bad, but it is a nice corner. And then through turn 5, very tricky. If you touch the inside curb, a little bit like I think it's the 4th last corner in Bahrain. At the end of the second sector, you just spin around if you so much as touch the curb. So that's something I'll need to be wary of
30 seconds left in the session.
throughout the rest of this weekend. And also the second last corner can be quite tricky as well, even though there's no curb on that corner. But you can see 2 green sectors, no purple, which is a little bit concerning, seeing as we need to be on the pace on these harder compound tyres. It's what the most of the race will be on. So as we go now into the last corner, and struggling a lot to get the lines right through all the corners, but across the line we are going to finish the practice session in P5. So that's actually not too bad, all things considered, and I was expecting much worse.
Quick look at the classification at the end of the session then. Here are your top 3. Sete Camera, King and Jack Aitken. Thank you for joining us for free practice today. We'll be back with more Formula 2 action very shortly. Welcome back to F2. It's qualifying and everyone here has their eye on the 4 points for pole position tomorrow.
So here we are for our one and only lap in qualifying into the first corner, and getting that just about right, using all the curb on the inside, spinning the car around a little bit though, too much, and that's going to cost us a little bit of time in the first sector into turn 2 though, a little bit deep, but we were able to get the car turn and make the corner quite decently, run wide in turn 3 because I was still sort of recovering from the bad line through turn 2. And couldn't take the line I wanted through there. Turn 4 was okay. Turn 5, big mistake, running miles off the apex there, and that's going to cost even more time. And through the chicane, just about nailed it, maybe even cut it just a bit there, but we should more or less get away with that. But then towards the end of the second sector, missing apexes left and right, it just did not come together very well for me. And we lost a lot of time there, so I'm a bit worried about where this lap's going to put us. This is one of the last tracks I want to start at the back, so hopefully we can pull it back in this last sector. Second last corner is pretty decent, not quite carrying as much speed as I maybe could have, and then now through the final corner we will soon find out what the damage is. Have we done enough to qualify in the top 10? No, we haven't. Down in position 14. So this weekend just got a lot harder.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are De Vries, Latifi and Jack Aitken. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. We're just 18 kilometers from the city of Budapest here in Hungary, where today's Formula 2 race is about to start. Hold on to your hats, this should be something special. The Hungaroring is located 12 miles northeast of the capital, Budapest. It's 2.7 miles long, featuring 14 corners, and it's got a reputation for making overtaking difficult. Nevertheless, there's a history of some truly exceptional races here. Let's hope that our Formula 2 drivers can serve up some more of that today. In the commentary box for the big race today, I'm Alex Jakes, and joining me once again, it's Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as well as being the 2012 GP2 champion, you also have experience as a test driver in F1. What would you say are the biggest differences for people fresh to the world of F2?
Well, Alex, I think it's an exciting time in Formula 2 right now. For spectators, a lot of excitement comes from all the drivers being in the same car. That puts the emphasis on driver skills, meaning lots of overtakes, which means exciting race for us.
As we're now moments away from the off, let's take a look at the grid order in which they'll start today's race. Nick De Vries starts from pole position today, edging out Nicholas Latifi, who will start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Aitken, King, Luca Giotto, and Galeo, Matsushita, Delatraz, Correa, Sergio Sette Camara, Schumacher, Alesi, Guan Yu Zhou, and Calderon, Boccalacci, Hubert, Mazepin, and Mahavir Ilott, and Ralph Boschong completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
Alright, thanks Jeff. We now go to 4 and 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the feature race here in Hungary in F2 2019. Hubert gets a good start behind me. We've got a pretty ordinary one. Here comes Raghunathan on the right hand side. We brake somewhat cautiously into the first corner, and Raghunathan goes for a massive dive bomb down the inside of pretty much everyone. and he is now the king of the turn 1 dive bombs, and he must be just about up into the points with that. That was absolutely insane. We might need to see a replay of that at some point, but yeah, that was absolutely crazy by Ray Gunnathan. But for us, we've dropped 3 spots off of the start, so not ideal at all, and we are a long way off of points or a reverse grid pole in this one, so we have a lot of work to do. We've now got Mazepin coming down the inside, but we go for a big dive down the inside of Hubert into the chicane. He was stuck behind a train of cars all braking quite early, so we were able to make the most of that. And here's the onboard from Nikita Mazepin, and he almost went with us down the inside, but wasn't quite able to carry the momentum through the way we were. But he certainly tried his best. Here's the onboard from Hubert, and you can see the extra speed we carried into that corner. Luckily he left the space in the last minute. We bang wheels on the exit, but no harm was done just there. So we've gained a position already in this race, and we might gain another one here on Boccolaci. We're certainly putting the pressure on into the chicane, but not able to make a move there, and we have a massive lose on the exit. But thankfully we're able to keep the car under control, and now heading towards the first corner. Can we make a crazy dive bomb here? We can, down the inside of Boccolaci, and we should just about get that done. Back on board with Hubert to see the battle playing out, and we are still side by side as we head towards turn 2. We're almost in the grass on the right hand side, trying to carry the speed, and Boccolaci gets back through. We give Antoine a big squeeze, but we hold on to that position, so not able to overtake Boccolaci. He held on very well there, so we will need to find a better opportunity. Hopefully we can maybe get him into the chicane, but we weren't close enough there, so we move on to the main straight once again. And this is probably the most ideal overtaking spot down the inside, and that this time we get the move done cleanly much earlier on in the straight, and Hubert actually gets through as well, so a good bit of teamwork there to get us both ahead of Boccolaci, and now we are up into P15 and 16 respectively, and the next car ahead of us is Guan Yu Zhou. So can we go for a move into the first corner on Zhou down the inside, and that is another position for us. Unfortunately Hubert not able to follow us through. This time Zhou is actually still on my left hand side briefly there, but we held on from that one. But yeah, this race is starting to come back to us a little bit. We're in P14. I think Ray Gunnathan is holding up the field a little bit. Whether he got damage from that dive bomb at turn 1, I'm not sure, but he's holding up the queue here at this point in the race. So anyway, we are currently still stuck in this train, and the top 10 cars or so are getting away massively. We squeezed down the inside of Mick Schumacher at the chicane, and let's see if we can carry the speed around the outside. Not quite through the second sector there, but we're just going to try to set up the move and see if we can do anything, but we didn't really get an opportunity, and by the time we get to the first corner we dropped off the back of him. We run wide, and Guan Yu Zhou actually sneaks back through there, so that was a mistake I really didn't need to make. So as we continue on, Hubert gets down the inside as well, so I'm losing a lot of pace in this race during the end of the first stint. So I might need to get in to do an early pit stop, because my tyres have no pace left in them at all. So let's just get this pit stop done, and hopefully that this will fix the lack of pace. Hopefully it wasn't a bit of damage I didn't notice that I got. So let's see, we've got the new tyres on, no front wing change, so if there is damage it's not terribly significant.
Racing as you leave the pits.
Enough for them to change it. So let's continue on and just see how this goes. But yeah, the lack of pace towards the end of that stint after the battle with Schumacher.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit
it's quite worrying. So anyway, we've got the new set of tyres on, so let's see if we can set up a good outlap and hopefully jump some of the cars that are yet to pit in this race. So we move on past the pit lane once again, and we pass those cars that are still in the pits, and we re-emerge in 16th position. So around about where we were before, no real changes there. Schumacher is battling away with Guan Yu Zhou there ahead of us, and hopefully they can hold each other up to the point where I can make the most of it. Schumacher has a bad run. He has to slow quite a lot for the apex of turn 3, and we've got the run round the outside towards turn 4. This will be a nice move if we can get it done, and we just about stay on the road round the outside of Schumacher.
Nice move. Good job.
And that was a very nice move. But we move on, and Guan Yu Zhou is the next car up the road from us. We've been trying to get a nice run out of the final corner, but it's never really worked for us all race, and we've had to make massive dives into the first corner. But that's not going to stop us from trying. We go for another one down the inside of Guan Yu Zhou, and we get that position done. Next up is our teammate Antoine Hubert once again. So we seem to be constantly finding each other around the racetrack in recent times. So let's see if we can overtake him and keep fighting our way forwards in this race, because he's stuck in a train. We get a nice run round the outside towards turn 4, to the inside of turn 4, and we get the position done there. So we are moving up in this race, just slowly and consistently, and we may be able to get some very edge points if the pace is good enough. So anyway, we now have caught up to a Lacey down the inside into turn 4, and we had to run him really wide there.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Very, very, very lucky that a Lacey left the space there on the inside, but we managed to get past there. But yeah, very good awareness by Lacey to leave the inside open there. We were not barely making that corner on our own, let alone with the car on the outside. But anyway, finally we caught up to Raghunathan, who's been holding a very decent position in this race. So he's been defending very well to hold on to those positions that he gained at the start. Obviously he's one of the slowest in terms of how the AI is coded. So anyway, we get past Raghunathan and up into P11. So if there's any mechanical failures up ahead, Raghunathan will be in the points. But we do get a mechanical failure on lap 23, but it is not ahead, it is behind. And that is for Mick Schumacher. So that does not help Raghunathan or myself. We are still in 12th and 11th. But we are still just trying to catch up to the train ahead.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Fastest laps will certainly help.
11th place. Okay, gap ahead is 9.1 seconds. Okay, the gap behind is 4.8 seconds. Okay, gap to leader 41.9 seconds. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 11 laps to go.
So now we move on to the last few laps of the race. Actually, we've caught up to Delatraz. We go down the inside into the chicane, and we get the move done there.
Nice work. That brings you up a place.
So we have been absolutely flying in this one. Here's the replay, and you can see it was a big dive, but we were able to get the move done mostly cleanly. Here's another replay for looking back from Correa's car, and yeah, we barged him out of the way a little bit, but we weren't going too fast to make the corner. So I think that was just about okay. But lap 35, or later on lap 35 rather, Dorian Boccolacci retires from the race, mechanical failure for him. But anyway, somehow Delatraz got back ahead. I'm not sure where that happened, but we go around the outside of turn 4, and we retake 10th position in this race, and we are now back into the points. So apologies for missing that out, but somehow we lost that spot.
This is your final lap of the race.
So last lap, and Louis Delatraz is having one last attempt to go down the inside, but we're going to try to hold it around the outside. But Delatraz is back through and back into the points paying positions, so we're going to need to get a really good run towards turn 4 if we want any chance of re-overtaking Delatraz. And we do that, we've got a good run to the outside of turn 4. Hopefully he leaves us a space just about to the outside, round the outside, and
Nice move.
we give him the tight line and we retake 10th place and the final points paying position in this race. But that was a very scary moment, almost losing the only point we could get for this race. Nick de Vries is your race winner, crosses the line to take the victory, and he has absolutely dominated this one. So that leaves us to the final 2 corners. Delatraz has not been able to challenge us again since we overtook him. Not really much overtaking in sector 2 and 3 anyway. So we cross the line for the hardest 10th place
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
I might ever get. So yeah, very disappointing race really.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for ART today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
An amazing race today, and a very well-deserved one too. The team worked very hard to get exactly the right setup out of the F2 car that works for them, and the results speak for themselves. ARTGP winners today.
So there you go, Nick de Vries, the race winner today, and he is starting to find his form in this season of Formula 2. So that's good to see for his sake. But for myself, just...
And now, let's take a look at the driver's standings. The lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Alex, let's give it to Mahavir Raghunathan. Give it so many positions during the race. He deserves it.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. Dams move further ahead at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from ART this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So, yeah, like I was about to say, that race just, it all went wrong at the start. Got a bad start, dropped to something like 17th, and yeah, it all just sort of went wrong from there. That is a lot of smoke on the start line. That's kind of crazy, but have a look at this dive bomb by Raghunathan. He was later than everyone else, 3 wide with some of the other cars there, so lucky they left space, or that would have been an aeroplane crash. But yeah, we made our way through the field pretty well, given that it was Hungary, and the pace was there, thankfully enough. That's the contact we had with Hubert, but yeah, it just didn't really come together for us in the end. But yeah, we had a lot of good battles, and overall the race was quite fun, both to race in and commentate. But yeah, we started 14th, only got up to 10th, but it feels like we passed half the field. So yeah, I don't know. It was just the whole race was just one step forward, one step back. But anyway. You get races like that sometimes, and we're in a better starting position just slightly for this next sprint race. So hopefully the sprint race can be better for us, but we've lost a lot of margin in the championship race. Luckily it was de Vries that took the win, and not Latifi, so I think we hold on to the championship lead for now. but it is considerably closer than it was coming into this weekend. But anyway, as for Hubert, no points for him, and yeah, no help for his challenge in this championship, and our combined effort for the team's championship is slipping away a little bit, and we will need a really good run of results, or maybe a DNF in the feature race for one of the Dam's cars in one of the upcoming rounds. But anyway, let's get into the sprint race.
We're back. For the second race, we've reversed the top 8 from yesterday, and everyone here is getting ready for what's shaping up to be a thrilling conclusion to the weekend. Alongside me today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. There looks to be a challenging race ahead of the drivers today, Davide. With that in mind, what are you looking out for today?
Well, Alex, I want to see how the drivers at the back of the grid are going to run down. They'll need to make an impact in the early stages, and they're probably hoping for a bit of luck at the start. We may see some bold maneuvers out there today.
Okay, the run into turn 1 isn't too long, so the pack will be bunched up. Take care. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
I am ready for the start of this race. Sprint race here in Hungary, 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Hungarian sprint race. And we are underway. It's an ordinary start once again, but we're going to take Raghunathan's advice and go for a big dive down the inside into the first corner, just about getting us stopped, not making contact, just about with Aitken, I think that was, on the outside. No momentum on the exit though, so whatever we gained we almost lost again straight away. We're trying to go around the outside of Juan Manuel Correa and Nick de Vries, but de Vries too far ahead to try and do that, but we do get around the outside of Correa. And that is a nice start to this one.
Strong start. Well done.
Just said that. But de Vries is in the train at the moment, so we might be able to make an aggressive move into the chicane down the inside, and we make sure that we get that move done on Nick de Vries. And we are now up into P8 in this race. So it's a really good start, up already into the points. So hopefully we can only improve from here, but Hungary is a tough racetrack. We've already lost a lot of time to the cars in front, but hopefully we can gain that back. But it might not be that simple, because de Vries is coming back at us into the first corner, and we have to try to cover that off as best we can. Very awkward line through there, but we hold off on that occasion. But around the outside of turn 3 he goes, but he is unable to make the move there. But yeah, he's throwing everything at it at this stage of the race, and I'm having to defend a lot, and it's costing me a lot of time, and I just do not have the pace of the cars in front. You can see they're just
Okay,
gone
you're in the top 10.
already, as we apparently are in the top 10. But de Vries trying again down the inside, but we're just going to hold it around the outside, and we are still sort of side by side as we are heading towards turn 2. We're going to go for the dive down the inside and retake that position from de Vries, and just about hold on to again 1 point in this race. But into the first corner, running a little bit deep, and we managed to hold on once again. But they're putting the pressure on de Vries and the whole train of cars now. But as we move on, it's actually not de Vries, it's Louis Delatraz down the outside. But we managed to hold him off, and once again we hold on to our solitary point in this race. I'm starting to get vibes of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where I was battling with Vettel lap after lap into the first corner. But it's much the same. and they're throwing everything at it, but they just can't quite get through the first corner and get the exit the way I am. But we have a bit of a slide there, and he's on the right hand side is Louis Delatraz, but I think he locked up there, and that's a costly mistake. He would have had a good chance of getting the move done otherwise, but thankfully once again we were able to hold on, and he lost a lot of time there through turn 3, so this is our chance to break away a little bit, but we move on, and that did not last long. He's a couple of laps later straight back down the inside, and this time he's through and past us, and we go for a move down the inside into turn 2 and retake that position. He did not cover that off very well, and we managed once again to hold on. But as I was saying, we've been very slow and battling. Jack Aitken is really struggling. You can see he's so slow. Let's have an update.
The gap to the car ahead is 0.9 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 17 laps old. They seem to have an issue. The time last lap was a 1:38.0. You're gaining by 1.6 seconds a lap.
So even with all the battling, we are massively faster than Aitken. So he has some kind of serious car issue that is holding him back. And as I'm following him, I'm just trying to figure out where he is losing pace. And you can see he's just so slow through corners. But we go for the dive into the final corner, and that is the only overtake I think I have ever done at the final corner in Hungary. And we managed to get it done. Here comes Louis Delatraz and Nick de Vries as well back there.
Teammate by 17.8 seconds.
So I was hoping Aitken could hold them up for a bit, but they are straight through, and it won't help me in this race. But Delatraz down the outside into the first corner, and we're going deep this time. Delatraz is still right there on the left hand side, but we managed to hold off the Swiss driver once again. So we just seem to be just about doing enough, but surely this can't last forever. We're only just managing to keep the car on the road in most cases. But anyway, moving on once again. Delatraz down the outside, and we managed to hold on once again. They really look at the train behind me. I have no idea how I'm holding them off, but that's what's happening, and it's just silly. What's going on? Surely we can't hold off forever. There's the train's growing, and I'm hoping that Delatraz starts battling with the cars behind rather than myself, and we actually make our own mistake running a little bit wide and having to leave space for Delatraz on the inside, and we are still side by side heading towards turn 2, and we should just about be able to hold on the inside there. They just need to be a little bit more aggressive trying to hold it around the outside there, and he'll get the move done. But in trying to pass me, he's let Nick de Vries pass, who has the fastest lap of the race, mind you. So de Vries clearly not lacking anything in this one, and he'll be even harder to hold back than Louis Delatraz.
Seventh place. Okay, gap ahead is 16.0 seconds. The gap to the leader is 36.0 seconds. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 5 laps till the end. You're probably feeling quite a bit of tyre wear about now. Stay out as long as you're quick, but there's probably not much left in them.
Now, as you can see, towards the end of the race, I just started to mess around with the in-car camera because I can, and that might end up costing me a bit of time actually, but I don't know, I just started to get a bit bored. But anyway, we are still, like I said, just about holding on, and I sort of came to the conclusion that they're never actually really going to try to pass me, or they'll try, but we're always able to hold on. So I thought I would just have a bit of fun and see what the cars are like driving from the in-car cockpit camera. And I do like driving like this. It's just a different experience, but I certainly am not as fast But anyway, you can see we're giving Delatraz the big squeeze into the first corner, but he manages to get a good exit, and he has the run towards turn 2. He's got DRS as well, but we're going to send one down the inside, make sure he cannot make the apex of the corner, and we just about hold on to that position. And as we look back, he's now under fire from the massive train of cars behind him, so that will be very costly to him if he's not careful. But as we move on, it's actually Jack Aiken attacking us around the outside into the first corner, and we're going a little bit deep. Aiken tries to switch it back to the inside. You can see the proximity arrow red, so he's there somewhere on the right hand side, but we're going to be able to hold on just about into turn 2. But yeah, the variety of different drivers now that have been trying to overtake us.
P7 now. P7, our gap to the car in front is 21.5 seconds.
Is a bit crazy, but you know, we've always just been able to hold on. But Aiken manages to get through while we're horsing around in the in-car camera. But we go for the big dive down the inside into turn 2, and Aiken switches back to the left-hand side, and just about doesn't manage to hold it around the outside. But yeah, this is yeah, a big battle with the cars behind. But as we run wide, Aiken tries to go around the outside, but holding on once again, and it is just over and over, just holding on. And I was always waiting for a time when we weren't able to, but thankfully that never came. And you might notice we are now on the final lap of the race, and there's really no overtaking opportunities left, which is why I switch back to this camera. But as I've completely glossed over in this one, your race winner is Sergio Sette Camera, and he will be finding his way back into the championship fight with a nice bunch of points there. But for us, it's been another difficult race. No pace in this one. We've just been defending the entire time, and we'll cross the line for P7.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Here they are then, coming into Parc Fermé. What an excellent win for the Dams team. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way round.
And I can see our drivers making their way out now. It's been a sublime team performance, and it's the culmination of a lot of hard work. Dams are your winners today.
So Sergio Sette Camera takes the race win, and a whole bunch of points in the championship fight. Jordan King, I believe that is, P2, and Nobuharu Matsushita joining the podium.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day is Mick Schumacher. With this team, Prema Power Team, they made the difference on the race strategy. Fantastic.
And now a look at the team standings. Dams move further ahead at the top of the standings. There was also a strong showing from the MP Motorsport team today as they make their way up the standings. There will be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you'll join us at the next race when Formula 2 returns.
So, fairly unsuccessful weekend, scoring only a handful of points over the course of the weekend. And yeah, that's just really disappointing. I was really, I wasn't expecting much, but I thought, you know, I thought we might be able to just get into the reverse grid pole, and that would save the weekend for us. But we missed out on that by one position in this feature race, and that really cost us a lot this weekend. But anyway, can't be too upset about it. It's not a total disaster. We're still in the championship fight, and you look at all these times that the AI tried to overtake, banging wheels there on the entry to the corner, but we were able to, on that occasion, hold around the outside, and on many others, it's just a recurring pattern over and over, just able to hold on one way or another. And that's a nice move on Aiken, barging him out the way there. But he was so slow, we had to get the move done there, otherwise we would have been under threat from Delatraz. But yeah, this whole race was just, this whole weekend, we didn't really have the pace. The first race we did, the second race, I'm not sure what changed, but the pace just went away. And yeah, that's really what cost us in the end. And yeah, I know I sound a bit downbeat over this one, but when you have a hard race, it's very hard to sound positive. But the next race, I am very positive about, the Belgian Grand Prix. Fantastic racetrack, one of my favourites, and I'm very, very much looking forward to a good weekend there, and we can put this one behind us. And I'm glad to say that we've got the worst track out the way in terms of Formula 2, and the rest of the tracks are ones I really love. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.